Okay, so I'm thinking about justice and stuff, right? So obviously, depending on your school of thought, we'll have different views on this. However, when I think about justice, which you can't even really be sure exists, I generally like to draw a pretty hard line between absolute justice and political justice. One serves the interests of truth, the other serves the interests of people. If there is some sort of like capital T truth, I see no reason why that truth or justice needs to be accessible to humans. In fact, it seems just as likely, if not more likely, that absolute truth is impossible, irrational, and completely beyond our understanding. Even if we could access these truths, who's to say that they're good for us to know? A capital T truth might destroy our entire concept of how to live with other people and ourselves. Now, turning for a second to Machiavelli, who is absolutely underrated, by the way, he's not evil. I like to think there's a lesson to be learned about subordinating fairness or a common sense of justice to the demands of necessity. What I mean is this: maybe a philosopher discovers some truth, but let's say that revealing that truth would absolutely destroy either the society that it's introduced to or the person revealing it, or both. Which is more important? That everyone suffers for the sake of some maybe revelation, or that we remain in the dark of some potential capital T truth? Reasonable minds can disagree. Take Socrates, for example. His whole thing was going around annoying people, giving them really good reasons why they were being wrong about things. And for that, they killed him. Was he right to criticize everyone he came across? Absolutely. He was exposing flaws in their logic and working towards virtue. That's a good thing, insofar as we accept the possibility of objective truth. But the problem is that there are structural forces that create different interests between philosophers and rulers. It's not that absolute truth isn't important, it is, but it's that it will always remain in some way unaligned with the genuine interests of society, who won't always accept it. Philosophers in this sense have a duty first to the pursuit of truth, no matter where it leads them, even if it leads them to some not-so-ideal conclusions. This isn't the case for rulers. Imagine if someone comes to you and tells you that murder isn't actually wrong, and life has no inherent meaning. That would suck. Who knows what the truth is, but I think it could be more important that people are happy, healthy, and able to live meaningful lives than they have access to every single truth. Political justice might demand that the state reject an idea they know to be wrong or sideline certain discourses. That's not because they're evil, but because their duty is to their people first. So I'd say that's not always necessarily a bad thing. So circling back to Machiavelli and to some extent Socrates, we should at least ask ourselves, when it comes to the balance between absolute and political justice, when and where do we prioritize each one? Which one is more accessible? What do you think?